Module 8, Analyzing Data with Pivot Tables, Part 4, starting on page 8-10. And this time we're going to explore data relationships. In other words, what we're going to be doing is switching rows and columns around and adding filters to create a report that's just exactly like the one the boss wants. On our same worksheet that we've been working on, and we have to activate the pivot table. So we'll click on any active cell and that will open the pivot table fields. Let's just review for a second what we currently have. And what we're going to do on this is I'm going to keep zooming down to that bottom set of panes, and then I'll give you a second, but you pause it and look at what's in which pane and then continue with the video. That way I'm not wasting video time, but you can still spend your time looking. So before we start, we have a quarters filter at the top, and then we are organizing by divisions, and in each one we have which category of office they are, and we're using the position ID and we're adding things up. Okay, so the rows are the offices, and we have filters by quarter, and our columns are going to be positions. All right, you ready? So now let's go down and look at the little window. Now this is where you pause it and look to your heart's content, and then we'll keep going. Okay, we'll do that all the way through. The idea is we're going to reorganize the way these fields appear so we can get exactly the kind of report that we need. It's very powerful to do this. So up here in the fields pane, we had not checked division, and division is going to add for us the actual names of the categories that we didn't see before. We hadn't been using them. And I want you to notice, well, I'll tell you when we get down there. There are two different office numbers, IDs, that go with creative. And I don't know why that is. Maybe you have one is for magazines and one is for websites. Beats me. I don't know. So we turned that on, and then what we have to do is figure out where we want it to appear. By default, when we turned on division, they put it down as a row. See, it's down in the rows. And what we're going to do is just drag it up so it's above office. Just move it up one notch. And it's the same thing as you might be used to doing in File Explorer. You look for the green line when I do this. You see the green line? It won't, I can't zoom in on it, so you'll just have to look, okay? And it will switch the order, and now the order of these reports has been switched. So all of office support for each of the 3 cities is going to show up in columns, and there's 402 and 420 that are both office support, and I told you creative is 340 and 510. That's crazy. I don't know why that is, but okay, whatever. Now we're on step 4. We're going to do 2 things. The first thing is the division is currently a row, and you can see that because you have the cities. It's currently a row, and we're going to make it a column. So watch me drag it from, again, I could do it in post edit, I guess. Just drag it from here to there. And so now we have the 110 and technical. We'll have both of the titles appearing together because we have position. Look down here, see? We said the columns should be position ID and then also division, and those are referring to the same thing. So it's like putting the title and the code of the title at on the person's name and their social security number together. It's like that. Okay, and then the second thing we're going to do is move the position ID field from there. So we're going to get rid of it from that location and move it over into the rows area. So it's going to become a row and below office. So it'll be Boston and then position IDs, New York position IDs. So columns and down to rows below office. So here we have the titles of the office, different kinds of um, divisions, and then their numbers, and there will be two of creative, because remember I told you there's two numbers for each of them? So that's why there are two columns, and they're listed by, by city, by division, and you can open and close the outline. And let me show you a zoom here of what, down, of what it looks like. Just a second. You can pause it if you want. And now we'll go ahead to step 5. Why are we doing these things? Because your boss might need any specific kind of data set up in a specific format, and all you're doing here is learning how to set up these screens by dragging fields into the areas. It won't be your job necessarily, especially in the beginning, to figure out what goes where, other than they'll say, I want a report that looks like this, and then you figure what the filters are and what the columns should be and what the rows should be. And is this going to take practice? Yes, it is. Step 5. Right now we have quarters as one of our filters. Remember, the filters are here. What we want to do now is take the division and make it into a filter. And we want to make it a filter of higher level precedence than the quarters. Why? Just because that's what the boss wants. So we'll drag it over. You see the green line? And then we'll drag it up above quarter. Can you see? And then drop it. So now we have divisions. And remember that you click the drop down and you can see which divisions you want and click on the one you want and so on. And which quarters, and ooh, I lost my pane. There we go. So that's the first part. And the second part is, we have a long skinny report now. We're going to take the position ID from being a row, which you can see it's a row now. That's the 110, 240, 340, blah, blah, blah. And move it over into the columns area. So it's going to be a set of columns across the top. Yep. Which looks essentially like what we started off with, except we have two filters now. So the upper filter is the division filter, and then it summarizes the data using position IDs for all 4 divisions. I just read the sentence, it was in the book. You'll have to agonize your way through this. That's the only way to learn it. Sorry. And we're already at 9 minutes. That's okay. We're almost done. Now then, let's filter just for fun down and choose only creative. So now remember I told you there's 2 for each of those. Creative has 2 numbers, 2 position IDs. So we have all of those showing, and we could say just the 4th quarter, or we could say for the whole year, all 4 quarters, changes in numbers. And I'm going to pause it just one more time to zoom in so you can look and see what's down in that pane compared to what we have showing. We have rows with the divisions, and then we have the position ID columns, and we're still adding things up. And then we have 2 filters at the top. So go down and look here. Alrighty. And then what we're going to do is change it back. So we'll take our filter off. Go back to all. Alrighty. And then they want to save the workbook, change the page orientation to landscape. Didn't we do that before? Control P, orientation. Oh, it is portrait. Okay, change it to landscape. And yep, that's it. So we're all done for this little lesson. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, but I'm not going to do the gold box. I think I confused you enough just with this one. So I'm going to skip that, but you can look at it if you'd like to.